sweet.
Latasha Pyatt picks up a trail of flowers from her kitchen
Another rose?
to her bedroom, delivered on behalf of her fiancé, Danyel Smith.
Happy 8th year anniversary.
Gifts from a man Latasha met online in 2015, who she's now engaged to marry, but has never met outside prison walls.
You know, we're a family of faith. I know we've gotten this far because of our faith in God.
A belief Danyel will one day be set free, despite serving life in prison for killing his newborn son Chandler more than 20 years ago. The state's medical examiner ruled the boy's death a homicide caused by blunt force trauma. Prosecutors told the Gwinnett County jury in 2003 it was a shaken baby case. Danyel was 28 years old and until then had no prior criminal record.
Good morning, counsel. You may proceed when...
Nearly a year ago, Atlanta News first followed Danyel's attorney Mark London Brown to Georgia's Supreme Court, there to request a hearing to introduce new medical evidence he says will prove Danyel's son didn't die from shaking, but from trauma during birth.
Today, shaken baby syndrome is a diagnosis of exclusion. Today, it is a diagnosis that never would have been made.
Testimony that mirrors our findings in an ongoing series, Flawed Forensics, which identified old science once showed pediatric traumatic brain injuries could only be explained with blunt force trauma, like car accidents, falls, or violently shaking a child. Today, new science shows those same injuries can also be linked to illnesses and biological issues, like seizure disorders. In court, Gwinnett County Assistant District Attorney Christopher Deneve did not think Danyel deserved a new hearing.
He's shown nothing to show due diligence in this case because...
About 3 months after the DA argued Danyel should remain behind bars, the same prosecutor makes a surprise offer. After spending 21 years in prison, he could go home immediately. But there was a catch. Only if he pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and wrote an apology letter admitting guilt. Danyel declined.
What did Danyel tell you why he wasn't taking this plea deal?
He's just always said, baby, I'm not taking this because I didn't do anything to hurt my son. I'm not taking this. And one would think me being in this thing with him almost a decade, no, you'll be home. I didn't blink an eye.
This plea offer was a ticket out of jail, a ticket out of prison, a ticket home. And he said, no, I'm not gonna admit to doing something I didn't do. I didn't kill my child.
So he knows the risk moving forward that if he doesn't take this plea deal, he could still end up staying in prison.
Of course, sure. Yeah, he knows that.
A chance at freedom that hinges on a legal battle for a new trial and potentially banning the district attorney from further prosecuting the case. Later this month, a judge could decide to recuse the DA's office from the case after Danyel's attorney claims prosecutor Deneve inappropriately tried to negotiate a plea deal through Latasha instead of his defense attorneys.
A prosecutor can't just call up a represented defendant and say, hey man, you know, what's going on? You can't do that. So to try to circumvent that by going through Mr. Smith's fiance, who's arguably his closest confidant, it's just as bad.
Oh, babe, and I got another bear.
An unconventional love story with an uncertain future after declining an unprecedented offer to be freed.
I didn't even pressure him about it at all.
Do people still give you a hard time about being in a relationship with a man you haven't physically met outside of a prison?
No. It's funny you asked me that because I just bought a new home, so my neighbors are seeing it on TV now. But it's not so hard for me to talk about anymore. This is our life, you know, and it's our fight, and we will prevail.